السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. How are you, Shaykh?
الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, we get started with the lesson.
إن شاء الله.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear respected attendees, may Allah bless you all for your attendance. We are covering the Kitab At-Tauhid by Muhammad bin Abdul-Wahhaab rahmatullahi alayhi. Just a quick reminder, please take notes, listen attentively, and hand your questions over to myself and the co-host throughout the course of the lesson. With that said, I'll hand it back to the Shaykh to start the lesson. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullahu khayran. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, today is our weekly class, Kitab At-Tauhid by Shaykh Muhammad bin Abdil-Wahhaab rahimahullah ta'ala, and today Al-Kitab Al-Awwal or Al-Juz' Al-Awwal or Chapter 1. And before we start, I request each one of you to have his pen or her pen in his hand or her hand and take notes. Chapter 1, Kitab At-Tauhid. Kitab At-Tauhid. This is how he started, and this is how he labeled chapter number 1, Kitab At-Tauhid, emulating Imam Bukhari. Emulating Imam Bukhari in his Sahih when he started Bab Bid al-Wahid. So he started with the revelation, Imam Bukhari. And also he emulated Imam Bukhari here because Imam Bukhari started the Sahih with the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ without writing a preface or introduction, because there's no need to introduce the revelation. So similarly, the Shaykh here is following the footsteps of Imam Bukhari, and he's telling you Kitab At-Tauhid. What else do you want to? There's no need for introduction. You don't need an introduction, because this is the very purpose for which you are created. Kitab At-Tauhid. And we talked about the meaning of Kitab. Okay? Means something, collection of something, connection of dots. That's how you write. So Kitab is a collection of different subjects. And these subjects, they revolve around the topic of the Tawheed. Kitab At-Tawheed. And by now we should know the meaning. That's why we went through, made introduction for this book, or a few sessions about introduction. So These terminologies are known now to you. So At-Tauhid is to believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to single him out regarding his person. His person is one. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد. Regarding his names are the most beautiful names. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. The most beautiful names belong to him, so call upon him by his names. His attributes, sifat, and the names of Allah, they have meanings, and the meanings of the names are the attributes of Allah. So you have to single out Allah regarding his names not like ours, because they are the most perfect names. And the names of Allah, they have meanings, not like our names. Our names, some they have meanings, some they don't have meanings. And even the ones that have meanings, not necessarily the meaning of the name is actually exists in the person himself. For example, someone whose name is Khalid. Khalid means someone who will live eternally. Khalid means eternal. Is he Khalid? No, he's not Khalid. Or his name is Saleh. Saleh means pious, righteous, upright. His name is Saleh, but he's a wicked person. Or someone, his name is Salem, means free from defects, when he's full from defects from head to toes. So those some of our names, okay? Or someone, his name is Kareem. Kareem means generous, and he's miser. So our names, though they have meanings linguistically, but in reality, does the personality of the person or the character of the person, does it reflect the meaning of the name? Not necessarily. But the names of Allah are different. Names of Allah are different. Okay? They have meanings, and the meaning is an attribute of Allah. It's an attribute of Allah. So As-Sami' is one of the names of Allah. What does it mean? The one who hears. So hearing is an attribute of Allah. Al-Alim is one of the names of Allah. What does it mean, Al-Alim? The one who knows, the one who is aware of what is going on. Al-Khabir is the one who is aware. So all the names, their meanings, they are attributes of Allah. Glory be to him. That's why the names of Allah, Husna. Husna means the reach the peak of beauty, al-Husn. So the names of Allah are the most beautiful names. And every name carries within itself meaning. That meaning is the sifa, the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah's attributes, as many as his names, at least, as many as his names, though the attributes of Allah are more. Because you can describe Allah Azza wa Jal by the most perfect attributes and noble quality. And the names of Allah are not limited. They are not known to us. They are not 99 names. They are more than that. So every name has a meaning. And the names of Allah, they have meanings. Not that they are meaningless, like what that's why I'm saying take notes. Like the Mu'tazila or the Jahmiyyah. They are giving, this is the name of Allah, but when it comes to the meaning of it, they do not approve of that or affirm that meaning. So they made Allah's names void, empty of meanings. They're just like labels, but no meanings. So to them, Allah is Al-Alim, but not necessarily He knows. That's what they are saying. For example, the Mu'tazila, they are saying Ilm Allahi unuf. Allah doesn't know things prior to their occurrence, their existence. After things happen in His kingdom, then He becomes aware of them. So they are accusing Allah of being ignorant, unaware of what is happening in His kingdom. So, of course, this is the evil fruit of Ilm al-Kalam, of the philosophy. Because the way they treat the divine attributes of Allah by applying the Greek logic, as if they are talking like a human being like us. So that's why, my dear brothers and sisters, this topic, the Tawheed, is very, very important. No wonder Allah created us for it. So you single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding His person. Allah is a reality. Allah is not a concept. Because many people, Allah to them is a concept, abstract reality, abstract, not something that exists. And this, when you read in the books of these deviant sects, whether they are the Sha'ira, Maturidiyya, others, you find that to them Allah is a concept. There's no real existence for Allah in the outside world. That is the gist of their belief. When they are saying Allah is neither outside the creation nor inside the creation. So where is He? There's no real existence for Allah Azza wa Jal. No existence. He's neither outside the creation nor inside the creation. So, and we know Allah is the creator, and He created creation. And I mentioned this to you many times. So there is creation created by the Creator. Now, this creation with respect to its Creator, what's the relation? This Creator was there existing and is the first and the last. And He created creation. When did He create this creation? Including times, everything is created. Did He create this creation inside Himself? So we are inside God now. This is disbelief, kufr. This is ruled out. Did He create the creation outside Himself and then He indwelt and entered into His creation? This is kufr. This is exactly what the pantheists believe, that God is what you see around you. That's God. Everything is God. So what remained? That He created this creation outside Himself and is above all His creation, and He is not in any of His creation. And this is the meaning of the supreme highness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the meaning, Allah fi sama, God is in heaven, etc. Ar-Rahman al-Arsh istawa. It's the meaning of it. So At-Tauhid So you single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding his person, not like ours, not like any of us. ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. Nothing is like unto him, and he is all seer, all hearer, all seeing, all hearing. Whatever comes to your mind, that's not God. ليس كمثله شيء. But then, in spite of the negation, when he says there's nothing like unto him, he affirmed for himself these two qualities, attributes. Sami' al-Alim, so he's all hearer, all seer. So he hears everything and sees everything. So that's one aspect. Then the other aspect, which is you single him out regarding his own divine actions, that he is the one who creates, the one who provides, the one who cherishes, the one who protects, the one who defends. That all his actions are unique, not like ours. And because he is the one who created us, he's the one who provides for us, he's the one who fashioned us in our mother's womb and brought us into this life, is the one who deserves to be worshipped alone. And that is where the third aspect of the Tawheed comes into the picture, that we worship only the one who deserves to be worshipped, and that's Allah, whose attributes are made known to us, his names are made known to us, and he is the one who takes care of us, and he is the one who provides for us. That's the one we have to worship, and worship him alone. So that's the Tawheed. Kitab At-Tauhid, the oneness of Allah. And the author, rahimahullah ta'ala, he started with the ayah, and this is his style, rahimahullah. All his books like that. Ayah hadith, ayah hadith. Huh? Allah said, the Prophet said, the Sahaba said, because this is our Islam. This is our deen. Not my Shaykh said this, my Shaykh saw a dream. Huh? That's not our religion. That's not our deen. Our deen, Allah said, the Prophet said. This is our Islam. What your Shaykh saw in the dream, that's leave his dreams for him. Okay? Our Shaykh does this, our Shaykh does that. We don't care about what your Shaykh does. Okay? We follow who's better than your Shaykh, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We follow his footsteps, because by following him, we have guarantee. If we follow his footsteps, we will reach our destination, and we will achieve salvation, and will be delivered. And we'll find our Lord pleased with all of us. And that is our objective. Anybody else who can tell me, if you follow so and so, your salvation is guaranteed? Who can tell me that? No one. No one can dare to utter such thing. So keep this in mind, my dear brothers and sisters. Our Islam, Allah said, the Prophet said. The ulama, we respect them, but we don't follow them blindly. We are obligated and obliged to follow them, because they are the inheritors and the heirs of the Prophet. They inherited the legacy of the Prophet. So what was the Prophet's legacy? What did the Prophet ﷺ bequeath, or what did the Prophet ﷺ he leave? What he left to us? Money? No. He left the ilm, knowledge. That's it. So the ulama, they inherited that ilm, and they are imparting it and passing it to us. So we follow the alim as long as he gives us from what he inherited from the Prophet ﷺ. If what he is imparting and telling us is his understanding or what he understood, then that understanding has to be checked according to the criterion, the revelation, Kitab and Sunnah. If it is in line, complies, we follow and we accept. If doesn't comply, then we make dua for the Shaykh and the Alim, but we don't follow what he said. So here, the author, rahimahullah, is quoting the ayah in Surah Al-Dhariyat, ayah 56. Kitab At-Tauhid, the book, a chapter on the oneness of Allah. And the ayah, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. This beautiful ayah that every Muslim knows it by heart. And every Muslim knows the purpose behind his existence on this planet. That Allah created us to worship Him. And I, Allah is talking, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ, the fa'il is this ta, خَلَقْتُ, I, Allah. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ, created not the jinns. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ, I created not the jinns. Well, ins and men, except they should worship me alone. So this sums up the purpose behind creation. Why did Allah create us? To worship Him. So He created these two types of creation, jinn and ins. The jinn are invisible creatures. That's why they are called jinn, because the jim and the noon, all the nouns and the derivatives from this root, jim, noon, jannah, you find all the words and names derived from this root, that they all give this meaning because of something, invisibility. They are not visible. They are invisible. So they are called jinn because they are invisible to us. We don't see them. Though they are around us. They're living with us at home in the toilets. Okay. The haunting and living in deserted places. They are another world of living creatures. And there are two types, as you know, believers, disbelievers, as Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Jinn. And one delegation came from Yemen to the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca. And he spent Wafdu Nasibain, the delegation of Nasibain, and he spent the Prophet ﷺ the whole night with them, teaching them. And they are asking him questions, and he was answering them. And he was reciting also Surah Al-Rahman to them. And they asked him for food, and they asked also food for their animals. Yeah, they have animals. So the Prophet ﷺ told them, any piece, any bone, the bone of an animal that is slaughtered, Islamically, that bone will be covered with meat for you to eat. And the droppings of the animals, of the human beings, will be food for your animals. So they are another world, the jinn. Well, ins is the opposite. Because anisa or anisa means to see. So we are called ins because we are seen. We are visible. We are visible. And we are, of course, easygoing. When you see a human being, you will not be frightened, you will not be scared. Okay? You can accommodate, you can communicate, you feel safe to talk to a human being. But if you see, for example, any of the jinn appears in front of you, you'll be frightened, scared to death. So Allah created the jinn, so they are legally obligated, like us. Okay, and the believers will be rewarded and will be delivered, and the disbelievers will go along with their father, because the father of the jinn is Iblis, and the father of the ins is Adam. And there are different categories among the jinn. Okay, different types. Shayateen, Afarid, Chicken, many names. And if someone is interested, wants to know the details, you can read the book by Shaykh Salem Al Amry, The World of the Jinn and Devils. And that series, I recommend that every brother and sister to read it. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ, the human beings, Allah created us, إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, to worship Him alone, and that is لِيُوَحِّدُونَ. لِيُوَحِّدُونَ, لِيَعْبُدُونَ, لِيُوَحِّدُونَ, as Imam Bukhari said, and as in the hadith of Mu'adh, when the Prophet ﷺ sent him to Yemen, he told him, فَلْيَكُنْ أَوَّلْ مَا تَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَيْهِ أَنْ يُوَحِّدُوا اللَّهِ. First thing you should call them to is يوحد الله إلا ليعبدون. And the ibadah, it has broad scope or general definition and specific one. So the ibadah, the definition of ibadah in its broad scope, okay, it covers all the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. Anything that is pleased to Allah and Allah loves it is an act of ibadah, active worship. And that's the definition of Shaykh-ul-Islaam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, and he said, al-ibadatu ismun jami'un likulli ma yuhibbuhu Allah wa yardah. So ibadah is this comprehensive, generic term, okay, for all the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves and is pleased with. When you do these things, Allah is pleased with that. So this covers the salah, the siyam, the zakah, the obedience to the parents, being kind to human beings, to the animals, to your wife, treating your wife nicely, satisfying the biological needs of your partner, everything. Everything. So it governs all aspects of life. So you are 24/7 in ibadah. In ibadah, 24/7. إن صلاتي ونسكي صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لا. So my prayers for Allah, my sacrifice for Allah, my life for Allah. So I live my life according to what pleases Allah. You earn your livelihood in the way that pleases Allah. So while you are toiling, striving hard, leaving your home in the morning to gain your livelihood, to feed your family in the halal way, you are in ibadah. 8 hours at work, if there is this intention, yes, you are 8 hours in ibadah. Because you want to earn halal and to feed your family halal. And you want your hand to be the upper hand, not the lower one. So all your efforts, whatever you do, is ibadah. The 8 hours you spend to sleep can be ibadah. If the niyyah, the intention, is to gain strength so you worship Allah. So 16 hours you now are ibadah. The remaining 8 hours you can convert it into ibadah as well. By the niyyah, by the intention. So all your life you are 24/7 in status and in the state of ibadah. Because you do things that only pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is the broad scope of ibadah. And unfortunately, many Muslims, they don't know this, and their understanding is so narrow. Just the ibadah is the rituals, the 5 prayers, or the fasting, the pillars of Islam. This is ibadah. Anything outside is not ibadah. So the deen, religion, is only something private, personal, between you and Allah. So the deen has no impact in your activities, social activities, in your business, in the politics. Religion has nothing to do in such spheres or such areas, because this is due to the misconception and the misunderstanding of the concept of ibadah. Ibadah inside the masjid, there, sit. So they are trying to tell us that Muslims should confine and limit Islam to the masjid. Just like in Christianity. Religion, there, go to the monastery, go to the church. Don't bring religion outside the door of the church. So they want also to do the same. Don't bring Islam outside the door of the masjid. Don't bring Islam to the market, to the public sphere. to the mundane affairs. Don't do that. Islam is not for this, and you should not come here. You find Muslims thinking that way. Because this Muslim, the concept of the ibadah is not clear in his mind. It's not clear. Allah gave you 24 hours. These rituals, 5 prayers a day, and Ramadan is only once a month, Hajj once a year, Hajj once in your lifetime. How about the remaining 23 hours? No ibadah? See, this is the difference between us today and the Muslims in the past, the Sahaba. Sahaba understood the meanings of these terminologies, these words. So they were all the time in the state of ibadah. Everything they do, they seek by that the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the broad concept and definition and scope of ibadah. اسم جامع لكل ما يحب الله ويرضاه. So comprehensive terminology, covers different grades of worship, ibadah, whether these are actions, utterances, or convictions. Oh, these are acts of worship because Allah loves them. So anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves and is pleased with, it's ibadah. This is the general definition. Then you have, that's why you need to know the jargon of the scholars when they are using terminologies. So for example, if you are reading in the books of fiqh, and they say Bab al-Ibadat, chapter on the acts of worship. Now the meaning is so narrow. They mean the salawat, the pillars of Islam. That's what they call Bab al-Ibadat. The transaction, Bab al-Muamalat, as if the transaction are not ibadah, but no. Here they are talking specifically about the rituals. I hope you are following, because this series, inshallah, will try to raise the bar a bit. Okay? So that's why you need to understand the terminology of the scholar. And that's why when you are reading a book, you will come across definitions of the terminologies used in the book. The author would mention his terminologies in the introduction, what he meant in the introduction. That when I say this, I mean that. I mean this, I mean this. So you need to know the definition according to the jargon of that particular discipline of knowledge. For example, the word sunnah, sunnah. Sunnah is the whole deen in its broad definition. The whole deen is a sunnah. Because كل ما ورد عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من قول أو فعل أو تقرير أو ترك أو صفة خلقية أو خلقية. Everything. This is the definition of the sunnah. Anything reported from the Prophet ﷺ, whether it is oral traditions, actions of the Prophet ﷺ, approvals of the Prophet ﷺ, sanctions, things that he sanctioned or approved of, taqrirat, or things that he didn't do in spite of the need. So the sunnah not to do, like he didn't make adhan for Salat al-Eid, he didn't make adhan for the eclipse prayer. So the sunnah is to leave the adhan for Eid and eclipse prayer, because he didn't do. If someone now comes and says, we'll make adhan for the Eid, this is bid'ah, because the sunnah not to make adhan for the Eid. If someone comes and says, we'll make adhan for the eclipse prayer, this is bid'ah. The Prophet ﷺ didn't do that. Or sifa, an attribute of the Prophet ﷺ, whether this quality is related to his persona, his character, or to his physical features, which we call shama'il, the physical features of the Prophet ﷺ, his stature, his looks, etc. Or he had long hair, braided. That is sunnah, because that's what the Prophet ﷺ used to do. So if someone wants to grow his hair and braid it to emulate the Prophet ﷺ, he will be rewarded for that. He will be rewarded. Though they say this is sunnat aada. The Prophet ﷺ, he did that just because the Arabs were doing that, his people were doing that, so he did it. But nevertheless, if you do it out of love for the Prophet ﷺ, you will be rewarded, because you are emulating the Prophet ﷺ or his habits. Okay? You try to do the things the Prophet ﷺ used to do. The way he would walk, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his favorite food, like the tharid, or he loved the pumpkin, he loved the sweets, okay, providing they are not diabetic, etc. So you can see the word sunnah has broad scope. But when you are reading in the books of the jurists, the fuqaha, the fiqh books, and they say the hukum is sunnah, here they are not talking about that general meaning. No, they are talking about something specific. So here, this definition is used specifically by the jurist to refer to something specifically. And that is to refer to one of the 5 rulings of the Sharia. The 5 rulings of the Sharia related to us individuals are 5 rulings. Haram, makruh, prohibited, disliked, fard, mandatory, obligatory, sunnah, recommended, mustahab, and the halal. So when you are reading in the books of fiqh, you have to understand when the word sunnah is used, they are referring to one of the 5 rulings of the Sharia. That something sunnah, if you didn't do it, you will not be punished. But if you do it, you will be rewarded. Like raising the hands in the salah. The sunnah. Sunnah of the salah. Yes, if you don't raise, you will not be punished. But if you raise your hand, you will get more reward. You will be rewarded more. Because you are trying to emulate the salah of the Prophet ﷺ. And you pray like the Prophet ﷺ prayed. Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Pray as you have seen me praying. So you have to use understand the definition, and in that context. I'm reading books of fiqh and I came across the word sunnah. I know this is what they mean. They are saying ibadah, they mean the ibadat, the rituals. But the broad meaning of ibadah, everything you do that pleases Allah is ibadah. I hope this is clear to everyone. So Allah created the jinn and mankind to worship Him. And this is in the broad sense that everything you do should be pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you avoid the haram. Then the author, rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned, because now he's talking about the Tawheed. So he's going to mention to us that the Tawheed, he has the ibadah, and to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with our a'mal, our actions. And Kitab At-Tauhid, this book, it is unique. You will not find a book like it. Because mainly this book talking about Tawheed al-Ibadah, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, specifically addressing this issue, because this issue is the reason, the very reason Allah sent the messengers and the prophets, the Ibadah. And this was the problem that the Shaykh, rahimahullah, faced in his area, where people started offering different acts of worship to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the Shaykh is quoting in Surah Al-Nahl, ayah 36. وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and verily, most certainly, we have sent among every ummah, community, nation, a messenger proclaiming worship Allah alone and avoid taghut. Stay away from the taghut, false deities. Let us reflect here. Allah sent to every community, every nation, every ummah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. And He loves guidance for his servants. And He is not going to punish anyone without making him aware of what is needed of him. وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. We were not going to punish anyone before sending a messenger to them, warn them, to guide them, to tell them what they had to do. Even those who on the day of resurrection would say, "Oh my Lord, when your messenger came to me, I was an old man and I could not comprehend what he was saying." So those who are going to give their excuses to Allah, Allah will give them a chance. And those are known as Ahlul Fatra. Fatra means those who lived in a duration that no messenger came to them. And they give example for the duration between Isa alayhi salam and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if there are in the history something similar to that. So they will be given a chance on the day of resurrection, and they will be tested. And if they pass that test, they will go to Jannah. Okay, they will be granted salvation. But if they refuse and fail, they will go to hell. So Allah is just. For that reason, He sent messengers to every nation. Every nation. And this explains to us, because when we read in some of the books of the other nations they have, not apart from Judaism and Christianity, the Holy Scriptures, for example, you read in the Vedas, the Hindu scriptures, details about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even about his mother, Amina. So this tells you, that's why many of the ulama and the researchers, they said, this could be remnants of scriptures that were given to these nations before, and over time they were adulterated, and some remnants remained. That is the logical explanation. Because Allah sent to all the nations prophets, 1,224,000 prophets. Imagine. Okay? So all the nations, they received prophets. So no one will have excuse. And the things that we find in other cultures, and they are in line to the teaching of Islam, possibly, these are remnants of something of divine guidance that was given before and remained intact. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sent messengers to everyone, to all the nations. So no one will come in the day of resurrection and give an excuse. Then the author continued quoting the ayat and the ahadith related to this unique issue, the Tawheed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Isra, ayah 23 to 24, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِندَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُل لَّهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُل لَّهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة قل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. And your Lord has decreed that you worship none but Him, and that you be dutiful to your parents. If one of them or both of them attain old age in your life, say not to them a word of disrespect, nor shout at them, but address them in terms of honor, and lower unto them the wing of submission and humility through mercy. Say, my Lord, bestow on them your mercy as they did bring me up when I was small. Let us ponder these beautiful two verses. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ, your Rabb, your Lord, decreed, decided, finalized. أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. This is what's related to the chapter. أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. You worship none but Him. It's the Tawheed. This ayah, part of the ayah, related to the title. Because you have to be careful how the Shaykh is so precise. So when he is quoting evidence, because it is so relevant, the title, the chapter. Allah ta'budu illa ya. So Allah decreed that you worship none but Him. So this is the very reason that Allah created you. And after worshiping Him, be kind to your parents. See the status of the parents in Islam comes immediately after worshiping Allah. So He decreed that we worship none but Him, and then وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and to be kind, benevolent, obedient to your parents, dutiful to your parents. Your parents, yes. Nowadays, when the parents advanced in age, they are deserted, left without anyone looking after them, or take them to the homes of those who are homeless, the elders. So the state looks after them, the government takes care of them. Because the children, they left their parents. Everyone is following his sweetheart. Because his sweetheart tells him, I don't want this old man and old lady in my home. I cannot live with you. So this, of course, is not a man who obeys his wife and mistreats his parents. He's not a man. He lost the manhood. He does not have that quality. He's not a man. He is male, but not a man. Different between Dhakar and Rajul. It's male, yeah. It's not a man. That's number one. Number two, tit for tat. By Allah, you will drink from the same cup. What you do to your parents, your children will do it to you. And when you are old, you will be deserted, abandoned, neglected by your children. You choose. You choose. Your parents. They are the cause. Allah made them the cause of your existence in this life. Without them as cause, you will not be here. And this is how you reward your parents. Don't you know your father is the door, the gate, door, your paradise? And your mother, paradise at her feet. Thamma al-Jannah. This is the authentic narration, not under the feet. That is weak narration. And some brothers and sisters stuck in their mind. The moment they hear the feet, oh, weak, weak, weak. Say, hold your horses, go and learn your deen. بالوالدين إحسانا إما يبلغن عندك الكبر. Both of them now they are getting old. أحدهما أو كلاهما, one of them or both of them. And I tell you, if any of your parents still alive, that is your real investment. If you want Jannah, want the Jannah, be kind to them. فلا تقل لهما أف. This word of disrespect, sign of anger, blowing air. أف. فلا تقل لهما أف ولا تنهرهما. Don't raise your voice. Don't raise your voice in the presence of your parents. Don't. One of the Salaf, either Hassan al-Basri or Zain al-Abidin, so when he eats with his mother, and there is, for example, meat, piece of meat, he will not touch that meat, that part, that piece. Because he said, I don't want my hand to touch it before my mother. Okay? Maybe she wants this piece of meat, so I leave it. فلا تنهرهما وقل لهما قولا كريما. You see, my mothers, my dear brothers and sisters, our mothers, we cannot reward them. You don't know what your mother went through. You cannot imagine it. Because all the things our mothers did for us, we don't recall. We don't recall. We remember what our fathers did for us. My father used to take me here and there. But there are things before that my mother did for me, I cannot recall. So for that reason, Allah kept reminding us about our mothers. Because the things that they did for us, we cannot remember them. And that's why your mother, and your father. Because she did many things for you. 9 months she bore you and she carried you in her womb. Many nights she couldn't sleep. Many nights she went breathless because you were stretching your leg and she goes, she cannot breathe. And when you came out, you gave her a tough time. And many mothers, they die in the labor. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said they are martyrs. Martyrs. The man who came from Yemen carrying his mother in his back and started going, making tawaf, and he was chanting, and I am her tamed camel. When her camels are frightened, I will not be frightened. Then he looked, he was boasting, he was feeling proud of what he was doing. I think he saw Abdullah ibn Umar. He said, I carried my mother, I brought her from Yemen on my back. Do you think we are breaking even now? We break even. I did my part. He said, can your mother walk? He said, yes. He said, let her walk. All this, what you did, is nothing. It is nothing. It's not even equal to one of the contractions of the labor. One of the contractions. Women, they know what I'm talking about. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. See the status of the parents in Islam. واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة. Lower your wing. Imagine you have wing, lower your wing and carry them and fly with them. واخفض لهما جناح الذل. Lower yourself for your parents. واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة. Show them, exhibit these signs of rahmah. When they grow old, they need you. They need you to talk to them, to see you. That's what they need. That you are around them. وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. And say, my Rabb, bestow on them your rahmah. Shower your blessings and mercy on them. كما ربياني صغيرا. In the same way that they brought me up when I was small. When I was in my mother's womb, she was eating the food and passing it to me. If I need calcium, she gives the calcium in her bones to me. Imagine. That's why pregnant women, they give them supplements, because they are giving. Mothers are givers. They donate, they give more than they take. وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. We'll stop at this point, inshallah, and continue in the coming session. Bidnillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us our faults and mistakes and ignorance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us remain steadfast on this beautiful deed. And may Allah make us die upon the Tawheed. And make the last word we utter is the word of the Tawheed. Ameen Ya Rabb. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with the beneficial knowledge and righteous deeds. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite our ummah in the haqq and guide our ummah to the haqq. And may Allah unite our hearts in the haqq. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, immensely for your patience and attendance. Barakallahu feekum. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Is the admin there?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh. The admin has gone for Maghrib prayer. So if we want to wait.
Okay, they can forward the questions, inshallah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
They can forward the question. Okay, question number 1 says, must a sick person who hallucinates on and off establish prayer? The answer, as long as he has his, sanity and he can recall, in spite of this waswas, yes, he has to pray, because the only time one can leave the prayer is when he becomes insane. Apart from that, as long as you are conscious and you recall things and you have the consciousness and sanity, you have to pray, yes. Next question says, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Do the jinn have the ability to bring a creature from somewhere to cause harm to a human? For example, if the jinn brings a snake and puts it on the human. The jinn, they can do that. Yes, they can. The jinn, they can do these things. And the elders, they tell us, and they had seen these things by their own eyes. There was a man dealing with the jinn, of course. So he tells them, if you want anything, I can buy it for you and bring it to you. And they are living far away from the cities. And okay, so they give him the money and he takes the money, throws it like this. And because he deals with the jinn, so one of the jinn who's dealing with him, he goes there to the shop and he buys as a human being, because the jinn, they have the ability to change their appearance and appear as human beings. So he buys and comes back and he tells them, go to that place and you'll find the commodity or the product or the item you wanted. So the jinn, they do that. And you know the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the one who was stealing was one of the jinn, but in the form of a human being. So, and they are, of course, their movement is so fast. And you know, in the Quran is Sulaiman alayhi salam and the jinn, he said, I can bring the throne, okay, of the Queen of Sheba from Yemen. So yes, they have the ability, yes. But of course, how you protect yourself from the jinn is the ruqyah. You read in yourself, always maintain your wudu, okay. Read Ayatul Kursi before you go to sleep. Then you will have this protection around you and they cannot harm you. So protect yourself by the adhkar. Another question says, if I lock the door at night and say Bismillah, as the Prophet ﷺ said, in the name of Allah, then would I need to repeat this if someone comes afterwards into the house? So when you lock the door, okay, now your door is open, you are locking it, say Bismillah. No harm, say it again. Because you open the door, okay, so now you are closing, say Bismillah and close. Question says, okay, alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is a woman sinful for delaying her salah as she is tired or lazy up to 2 days after her period or before her period, as the hormones are setting back to normal? Of course, she is sinful, no doubt. Should not delay your prayers. cannot delay your prayers. Okay? And until you miss the time, the salah. Oh, you are sinful. So we have to, I mean, salah salah is something essential. One of the pillars of Islam. I don't know why people are treating the issue of the salah lightly. Those who delay their prayers, Allah threatened them. وَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Woe to them, those who pray and delay their prayers. Woe to them. In the books of tafsir, some of the ulama, they said, Al-Waylu Wadin fi Jahannam is a valley in the hellfire for those who delay their prayers, leave alone those who do not pray at all. So, my dear brothers and sisters, do not treat your salah lightly. قد أفلح المصلون أفلح المصلون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون. Those musallun, those who observe their prayers, they أفلحوا, succeeded. So when you feel lazy, get up, take wudu, and you'll be refreshed. So this is my advice for all of you. Salah, red line. Salah is a red line. See the salah because of its status, its merit, its virtue. Allah took his prophet to the upper assembly. He took him on the night of Mi'raj to give him this gift, the salah, in heaven, to tell you that this salah, how dear it is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and important. Because 5 times a day you communicate and you stand before your Creator. And the Prophet ﷺ said, when you say Allahu Akbar, Allah faces you. Allah is facing you. Yes, Allah is facing you. And if you turn your face, Allah asks, have you found a face better than mine? Another question says, if an older mother married does her daughter who lives away in her own home have the same responsibility as she had before for her? She is still your mother. Whether you are far away in another country, she is your mother. Okay? And if she is in need and you can help, should not hesitate. But if you cannot reach her due to some circumstances, then at least you, through the telephone, you talk to her, support her financially if you can afford that. She is your mother. Okay? And everyone, every child, okay, he should be dutiful to his parents. I am dutiful to my parents. My brother is disobedient. He will be held accountable. He will be punished. Not because my brother is not helping my mother. Why should I? What is this? We should not emulate others who are evildoers and doing evil things. We should not take them as example. We need to remind them. We need to advise them and warn them. So your parents and your mother, okay, do whatever you can. Anything beyond your capacity, Allah will not blame you. But something you can do, you should spare no efforts in pleasing your mother and being kind and dutiful to your mother. The question goes on. The mother has an older son, but he is not mentally well enough to give his duties to her. So the sister has always been doing that duty. Alhamdulillah. Listen to me, my dear sister. May Allah bless you and bless your children and bless you, your life, and you will find everything. Every good deed you are doing, it is written for you. So don't give up. This is win-win situation. And this is business with Allah. And believe me, you'll find the barakah, the blessings. Allah will put blessing in your life. So don't let the shaitan work on you and try to convince you that you should not do this because the others, they are not doing their duty. Do yours. And Allah will compensate you and will reward you immensely. And may Allah bless you. And may Allah give you success and tawfiq to continue helping your mother. Question says, is saying, oh my God, kufr? No, of course, not kufr. Listen to me now. I don't know why some brothers and sisters, maybe this is the culture of especially those who grow up in the West, keep this word kufr out of your mind. Here you say, Ya Ilahi, oh my God. So what's the problem with that? But don't say, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Don't say these things. But to say, oh my God, there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, Akhi, you can continue now.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I went to pray Maghrib.
Okay.
Question number 7. If I take a nap during the day, is there any dhikr or dua to say before and after sleeping for protection?
You can say the same adhkar. The adhkar of the sleep, if you want to say them, say them. Okay? Say them. There's no harm, inshallah. Next.
Barakallah fiqh. The next question is, a person who claims to cancel black magic by wanting to have a look at the concerned person picture considered a soothsayer?
This question is not shown yet. Okay. The person. Yeah, if he's asking for the pictures and things like that, or give me a piece of cloth from of the person who is affected, or his mother's name and stuff like that, yes. He is a fortune teller or soothsayer, and he is dealing with the jinn, basically. Yes. Next question, please.
Barakallah fiqh. The next question. What right does the mother have over her daughters once they are married? Many brothers who marry the daughters of the families try to break ties of the womb and plan for their own mothers to replace the blood mother. Is this halal?
No, of course, it's not halal to make your wife to cut the ties with her family. It's haram. It's haram. It's not allowed. And the daughters, they should remain, I mean, helping their mothers, etc. But they have to keep in mind, once a woman is married, now her movements are restricted, controlled, and she has to listen to her husband. Okay. She cannot leave without his permission. Okay. But of course, that's why, my dear sisters, when you get married, marry those brothers who fear Allah. Don't follow your heart. Because most of these marital problems, okay, they merge because the husband is not that God-fearing, is not pious, is not practicing the Islam. Okay, and he just follows the culture. Okay, so you should not accept a partner who is not fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if a husband fears Allah, he will not ask his wife to cut the ties with her parents. Okay, he will not. Impossible, because he knows this is haram. This is kabira. This is major sin. Okay, so my advice for the husband to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he expects her to be kind to his own mother. To his own mother. And be undutiful to her biological mother. What logic is this? Yes, she will be kind to your mother because she loves you. So she treats your parents like her parents. And she expects in return you treat her parents like yours. This is how it goes. It should be this way. I respect my in-laws in the same way I expect them to respect me. So I love my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, just as I expect their daughter to love my father and mother. May Allah guide all the Muslims. Ameen. Next.
Ameen, barakallah fiqh. The next question. What is the distinction between the right of the mother over her mature son and that of her mature daughter?
See, here, let us, strike the balance. Some mothers, unfortunately, they want to dominate and keep her children under her thumb. And some children, the boy's son, is just brought up by his mother and his personality is weak. So whatever his mother tells him, he does it, even if it is wrong. No. You should have your personality as a man. Now you are grown up. And now you have wife. You should not wrong your wife. When you know that your mother is mistaken, she is wrong. You should not help your mother to continue wronging and teaching your wife unjustly. You should not help her. Yes, you don't raise your voice, you keep the adab and the manners. But you call a spade and you put your foot down. You're a man. You're a man. At the same time, your wife should try to help you and try to accommodate her mother-in-law and try to pacify her, cool her down, and avoid provoking her and avoid the things that makes her get angry with her. But the adl is adl. You have to be just with your wife and with your mother. So the mother, she cannot, treat her son all the time. Okay, do whatever I want, ask you to do. When what she's asking doesn't make sense, it's wrong. Okay, now he's now a family man. He has children. He has a responsibility. So, mothers, they have to understand that. Okay, because some mothers, they want to keep the child under her arm as if he's just a baby. No, he's a man. You have to understand this. And you should not make the marital life of your son hell. Unfortunately, some mothers, they make the marital life of their children hell, miserable, make them suffer instead of making their life happy. And she enjoys when she sees her children are happy with their spouses, but some they get upset because some mothers they feel, she stole my son. Psychological, and some of them they need to see psychiatrists. Oh, she came and took my son away from me. Some mothers they think like that. Next.
Barakallah Fik. The next question. Does the wife have to live with the in-laws, or can a wife ask for their own living space? The mother is demanding that we move into the boy's house and live together, but note there are no brother-in-laws.
Now this depends on the circumstances of the husband. If his parents are in need of him, okay, they're old. So, see, we go back to the law of love. The law of love says, you love what your beloved one loves. And your husband is your beloved one, and you love your husband, and he loves his parents. So, if you love your husband, you will also love his parents, and you will not encourage your husband to desert and to abandon his parents and when they are in need. So if the house is spacious and you can live with your mother-in-law and father-in-law, do that. Don't make your husband to suffer because his parents are in need of him and you are telling him, I cannot live with your parents. And you choose between the us. And any man, I'm telling you, sisters, any man, when his wife tells him, choose between me and your parents, the real man will tell her, you know what? I cannot find parents. I cannot find parents. I have only these two, my parents. I cannot find others. But you know what? The day you were born, millions like you were born. I can find a wife. And sometimes women, they need to hear that to make them realize that they crossed the limits. What does it mean? Choose between me and your parents. Who are you? Who are you? So the pious wife is the one who paves the way for you to Jannah, not the one who paves the way for you to Jahannam, to the hellfire. No. So let us strike the balance. Sisters, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and help your husbands to be kind to their parents, not to be undutiful. Because any woman, I'm telling you, brothers, listen to me, any woman who's helping you, backing you to be against your parents is not a good wife for you. I'm telling you bluntly, she's not good for you. Because she is pushing you to Jahannam, hellfire. And remember, listen to me, sisters, I'm not here to pamper anyone. Because I love you all, and I talk to you from the bottom of my heart. Remember the hadith in Bukhari that Ibrahim alayhi salam used to visit his son Ismail. And he came twice. First time he came, Ismail was not there. He asked his daughter-in-law, and she didn't recognize him. Where's your husband? He said he went out hunting. So he asked her about their living, and she started complaining. He told her, when your husband comes, tell him that a man came here and he is telling you this. Change your door. The door of your home, change it. So Ismail came and he asked did anyone come? She said yes, old man, and he realized that was his father. Did he tell you anything? He said, yes, he's telling you to change your doorsteps. He said, you are the door. Go to your family. Ibrahim didn't like his daughter-in-law because she was not content and thanking Allah with what he provided for them. He married another woman, and he came again. Ismail also happened to be not there. Same question, but this time he is thanking Allah, praising Allah. Alhamdulillah, we are fine. So he told her, when your husband comes, tell him to keep and maintain the door of his home. Ismail came, asked the same question, gave him told him what happened, said, that was my father, and he is telling me to keep you as my wife. Okay. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let us live our life according to what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because our life is short, and soon we will leave this world, and then that is the real future. Jannah and hell. You choose. Where do you want to go? Want Jannah? Follow the things that bathe and facilitate for you the way to Jannah. Want to go to hell? Follow your whims and desires and your shaitan. I hope this is clear to everyone. Next.
Barakallah feek, Sheikh. The next question. Are we obliged to give financial support to our mother while she earns sufficiently and spends it as she wills without listening to my father? Please advise.
Yes, help your mother. You have to understand this. Sometimes the parents, though they are well off, if something comes from their children, they love it. They love it. So you are well off, you are fine. Okay? This is a gift for you, mom. Parents, they like that. But of course, when they are financially all right, you don't help them to the extent that it harms you and harms your family. I mean, your necessity things for you, for your children, for etc. But if helping them doesn't harm you, this is something noble act, and do it, and you will be rewarded for that. This is a kind of bir to them, bir, obedience, dutifulness to them. Next.
Barakallah fiqh. The next question. There is someone who, whenever he recites for a long time, he gets khushu and tears going down, but later he is fever, mostly headache, and the doctor says this is due to the nervous system reaction. The problem is, if he doesn't read the Quran, he doesn't feel, but this person thinks maybe this is about shaitan.
Can you send the question, please?
I believe you have it, Shaykh.
Yeah. Okay, so this person, when he recites the Quran for a while, then he gets khushu and tears start rolling down on his cheek. His eyes are welling up with tears. But then he feels a headache. And the doctor, they are telling him this is due to your nerves reaction. Forget about what the doctors say. The Quran is shifa. Quran is shifa and cure. Okay? So when you read the Quran and you feel the khushu' and you cry out of the fear of Allah, but don't stress yourself. Okay? Because you see, the real khushu', okay, you are reading and the tears, they come out naturally. No need to stress yourself. You want to cry, you want to cry. No, it comes out natural. Because the khushu' starts in the heart. What happens to the eyes, this is the later stage. Khushu' starts here. That is where you feel the calmness, serenity. And now you are reading and you are enjoying the recitation and you are contemplating, then the eyes will start welling up with tears. Not stressing yourself. Don't stress yourself. Or try to cry. It will come. That's why the Prophet ﷺ was reading, okay, he cries. Abu Bakr Siddiq, but these things, they come natural. And the Quran is shifa. Next.
Barakallahu feek. The last question, how do you respond to non-Muslims who question us about the law on apostasy?
This non-Muslim, first of all, we ask him, what are you? Are you Jew, Christian, agnostic, atheist? What are you? I'm Christian. Really? Do you believe in the Bible? Do you accept the Bible as God's word? Yes. Really? Yeah. Okay. That's what your Bible says. This is what your Bible says. Spare them not, those apostates. The same thing for the Jew. This is what your book says. I'm an atheist. Then you don't believe in God himself. So what is the benefit to discuss with you what is mentioned in the Quran? You don't believe in God himself. Let's just discuss, first of all, the existence of God himself, not the books that he sent down. You don't believe in him. Why should we discuss the books? They are not books of authority to you. So don't waste our time here. Let us discuss the real issue. Is there God or not? So don't turn the table. Muslims, learn how to turn the table. Okay? Don't be apologetic and just always in the defensive position. No, turn the table. I hope this is clear to all of you.
And Shaykh, just very quickly, what is the wisdom behind the apostasy laws in all of these Abrahamic religions, if you could kindly?
Of course, the wisdom is that if there is a protection for the belief and the believers. Okay? Because if there are, you see, the belief is the way of salvation, and it is the true path. Okay, and that is what God himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, told you. And now someone to come and say, well, this is not true. Okay, fine. You don't believe in it. Okay, in Islam, for example, we will not force you to accept what Islam is saying. But once you become a Muslim, then you cannot leave and say, oh, I didn't like Islam. No, we tell you from the beginning, make your mind. No compulsion of religion, but make your mind. Once you become a Muslim, you cannot leave, because Islam is the right way. Anything else will lead you to destruction, lead you to the hellfire. So that's why we prevent you and stop you from going to the hellfire. Allah saved you from the hellfire when you become Muslim. And now you want to go to the hellfire. Islam stops you. And if you insist to go to the hellfire, okay, then you'll be killed. And so this is deterring measure to prevent, because some people, why do they want to leave Islam, for example? Not because the Islamic teaching doesn't make sense, no. Okay, he wants to become Christian. Does Christianity a rational belief? God died. God killed his son because Adam committed a sin. Does this make sense? Because Adam committed a sin, instead of punishing Adam, he's punishing his own son and killing his own son. Or himself, he killed himself. and died on the cross himself to expiate the sin one of his creatures committed. Does that make sense? But those people who they want to go back because they want to satisfy their desires and their whims. So there's nothing haram. Everything, nothing is haram. Everything is halal. Because he wants just to fulfill his desires, to drink, to womanize, do whatever he wants. That's what he wants. So he said, I'm leaving the deen, I'm leaving Islam, or I'm leaving this religion or that. So the apostasy, the ruling of the apostasy is to protect the belief and the believers. And of course, you know, in man-made law, man's made law, there's something called treason. Treason. If someone collaborates with the enemies of his country, then this person will be executed because he betrayed the country. An apostate, he betrays the belief and the community of the believers. So when this punishment is there, anyone who is weak and feels that, okay, I want to leave the belief because I want to commit sins and nothing there, no one can tell me this is haram and that's haram. But because of the punishment, he will remain within the fold of Islam. And then he will become mature. And that desires and the drive of the desire start to die. And then he will thank and be grateful to Allah that he didn't leave the deen. But there is this punishment which stops him from taking the wrong decision. I hope this is clear to all of you. Next.
Barakallah fi Shaykh. We will stop there. May Allah accept the lesson and accept the attendance of all the students. Barakallah fikum wa jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you all, protect you all. May Allah bless your family, protect your family. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate your status on this world and in Jannat al-Na'im. Ameen. Until we meet inshallah in the coming session, I leave you in Allah's company and protection. في حفظ الله ورعايته. السلام عليكم